Boy, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to talk about here tonight on Sportswire. I know people have been waiting for a while here. While I will eventually honor our guest into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame in a little while. I would have did it at the top, but we have so much to cover. We have so much to cover, especially in the world of DBW. Chase Wakefield, an embarrassment in the Dawn's March. Will he even make it to the Chase Wakefield Wedding Invitational? Maybe it'll be the Silas Walker Wedding Invitational. I don't know if I'm going to go that far. What about Austin James? Well, what about that? What about some other announcements of some DBW stars coming on the Sportswire Radio real soon? What about our guest and just, well, everything he's done in 2024 and, well, what's next? After all, what he's done pound for pound, match after match. Some have said in the past he's got the best elbow drop out there. Some have said it's admonishment through rebirth. I'm just going to say don't call it a comeback because he's rather legendary. And boy, I can't wait for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been waiting for it. In fact, he's been waiting for it so much he just can't figure out what and what not to do. I tell you what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to bring up the Indianapolis Colts one because I don't want to turn into Nicky Chooch, wink and a nod. I don't want to turn into Zachary Depew. I don't want to turn into Chase Wakefield, and maybe I don't want to turn into Austin James. Spoiler alert here in a few months. But ladies and gentlemen, let's now global here. Let's go global. We are now global, figuratively and literally, and I'm going to give our guest that legendary championship-like introduction because you want it. I know Zilla. After all, Zilla's just a big fan of it. I'm just going to say that. Zilla's a big fan of yours, and we're a big fan of you here on Sportswire Radio, so it is now time to start the show on the road here on the platform that our guest and DBW most certainly helped build to get to nearly 1,360 subscribers here on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all wrestling matters. You want it? Now it's time to get it. I'm going to shut up and say no more. It is time to give our guest that championship-like introduction, warm things up here in the Northeast. To put it kindly, let's get ready to rumble. So with that, wait for it, further ado here on the Sports Report. Number one global sports show. And yes, keep the cat in the show because the cat is what everybody wants to talk about. No, I'm only kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to introduce the man himself, who's legendary. Simply put, the reigning, defending DBW Global Champion, Silas. The champ is here. My friend, how are we doing? And Happy New Year. You're on mute.
Happy New Year. Happy holidays, Tom. How was your holiday?
I was on Sportswire every night, and I think you were in the
I was
chat.
watching most of them.
Yeah, people asked me. People were like, are you going to take a vacation? Are you going to go anywhere? And I was like, where am I going? I'm going here on Sportswire. There's nowhere else. I mean, people in my community, people are asking me, why don't you take a day off? And I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm taking a day off. When I'm dead, I'll take a day off. But good to be with you. Before anything else, introduce us to the cat. I mean, the cat, I think I've seen once before on this platform.
Yeah,
but
so
introduce
this
the cat
cat's
to the
a
audience.
star. This cat is a star. This is
I could
Tweet,
see.
by the
Keep the
way.
cat on the show. It's more of a star than Chase Wakefield is these days. I see in the ring.
He knows greatness when it's in front of him because I was raising that championship up. And
I saw. I'll tell you what. Your cat very well could be born for stardom. Maybe your cat is legendary. Maybe your cat was the true leader of Chaos Conspiracy.
Maybe this guy needs to be my manager. I don't know.
I tell you what, I mean, you can't go wrong with the cats. I mean, listen, cats in the cradle. I mean, there you go. But what is your cat's name for the audience?
Tweak from the South Park character. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched South Park in ages. Is South Park still on these days?
Oh, yeah, they still air. I mean, they haven't aired in probably a year or so, but they're supposed to be releasing some content soon.
Wow. Okay, South Park is still a thing. I remember as
about 30 years, yeah.
You know what? I remember as a little kid, this has to be 98, 99 when they had the John Elway episode. That was like with Cartman and John Elway being his father. That was like the moment. But okay. But you know what? Enough about that. We thank Tweak, right? Tweak. Yes. We thank Tweak and congratulations. And I will eventually put you in the Hall of Fame in a little while, but we're behind, and I want to talk about a lot of different things. And I want to start right off at the top here. For those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage that you, Tweak, and DBW most certainly helped build here, Sportswire Radio. Silas Walker, our reigning, defending DBW global champion. Everything you said about Chase Wakefield seemed like at Merry Mayhem. It all came to fruition. It seems like you are a prophet that is rather admonishing even those in the Dawn's March, and they don't seem like they're going to have a rebirth anytime soon.
His rebirth, Chase Wakefield, is who I'm referring to since he's come back to DBW.
Did you watch the documentary?
I did, and that shocked me. That shocked me. Wow. And I was a little concerned before going into the match. I didn't know if it was going to be me versus Chase Wakefield or if this was going to be like a Michael Myers type scene.
I was in the chat live for it, and I think I just kept saying, and I think somebody in VTW was there with me. I'm like, I just hope this guy doesn't kill me on Sportswire next appearance.
Well, I mean, you at least have the protection of a screen. I had to go face to face with him.
That's true, too. I hadn't thought of it that way. Touche. But, he can make all the documentaries he wants. He can talk about all these weddings. But in the ring, I mean, you certainly had him fooled and everybody else. And we'll put the match up in a few minutes. But you pretty much proved everybody and some.
That's what I've been doing, Tom. Since Total Domination 9, when I won the DBW Global Championship. Before then, when I won the DBW Number 1 Contenders Championship in the Battle Royal. I have been proving to everybody that as long as I have a plan, it will come to fruition, and I will execute it perfectly, and I will get what I want. And that's what's happened for pretty much a damn year.
Yeah, I would think the last half of the year, so the last 6 or 7 months, the run that you've been on is really impressive, and it certainly harkens back to an earlier period in your career. We go back to the days of Best in the R2 and where you were dominant, and even to those early days kind of the Dawn's March where you've almost kind of had when I hate to bring him up again, but Chase Wakefield, you and him have had 2 different years. I mean, it's one guy's on here, he's turned himself into guys like James Taylor and guys like Anthony Steele and Aaron Blaze who show up here and they've always got something to say out of left field. But you, on the other hand, you show up here and it's championship after championship win. It's proving everybody doing this, doing that, the funeral. We talk about big techs. I mean, you are a prophet. I'm not even going to go there with big techs anymore. No need for that. I mean, what you've said time and time again, you've been Stephen Gaynor. Look at what Stephen Gaynor tried to do to you. You proved that wrong. I mean, what you've done, it's really been a tale of 2 years, unlike Mr. Wakefield. I mean, Mr. Wakefield's, I guess, most memorable moment in the ring, other than being in the ring with you as well, trying to find a figure for Jack Delta from Aaron Jones in another promotion in VTW. But what a year you've had. It's been, again, like I said, to sum it up, you and Wakefield in the ring, a total story of 2 different years, nevertheless.
And I'll give him the props that he deserves. He is creative, and he can find ways to hurt you that you wouldn't think, because the dude's like 110 pounds. So he has to do those alternative offensive maneuvers, and he does it well, but
he's good in the ring. No, he's good in the ring, but
not well enough. Not well enough.
But he hasn't won anything. You have won match after match, and that's, to me, the tail of the tape. When I look at your year, right, I look at your 24. I look at his 24. I know he said, well, I did what he did in 2023. Not so fast, because what you've done, I mean, you have proven it time and time again. Name after name. Guys that don't even work in DBW, you beat them. I mean, championship matches, you win them. You've even had management against you. Stephen Gaynor. Stephen Gaynor is a man that you've been talking about, and you even brought it up here. Chase Wakefield, how did he earn a title shot? Gaynor tried to stack the odds with somebody that knew you better than anybody, but yet it all was for naught.
I don't know what Gaynor's going to have to do to really put me away. That seems like it's his goal. He's just presenting people and presenting people and presenting people, whether it be in front of everybody or backstage when he says, Silas Walker, you're going to be fighting this person. That's what he did about Jacob Cassidy. That's what he did about Zach Depew. It's what he did with Big Tex.
I got to ask you about Gaynor, because Gaynor really hasn't been a topic with you. I know I've had other DBW guys. I'll have some more announced. Actually, a lot of DBW covers this month on Sportswire. Sort of, you'll, I think, get a kick out of at least one of the announcements. But Stephen Gaynor is a name we haven't spoke about much. And I have to ask you this question. I never asked this to you. You've been coming on here every few months now for a while. Did Stephen Gaynor and you just have a bad day once backstage? Was there ever a time did you not say hello? Maybe he was walking through the door, you didn't hold the door for him? I'm just curious in terms of, for everybody that's been following DBW this past year, especially with you and Stephen Gaynor, was there anything that you can recall where you did something that maybe where Stephen Gaynor is time and time again tried to put you in these different scenarios, almost to make you fail and to lose that DBW Global Championship? Is there something Stephen Gaynor and you had that has made him come to decision after decision to try to basically have you lose?
I can't pinpoint it, Tom. And the only thing that really kind of gets me thinking is Stephen Gaynor, he's friendly with all these people. We show up to the DBW shows, we set up the ring, we do what we need to do, we get the show started. He's friendly with all different kinds of people. Now, obviously, there's people everywhere that stick to themselves or stick to their groups. But I think Gaynor just kind of took offense when I targeted people that were his friends.
But you have a big group in DBW. You guys have a close-knit locker room. A lot of guys show up early. Like you said, guys come in and help set the ring up. DBW's got a locker room that's very, very colorful. A lot of guys do different things. You have a great group. You have some veteran guys, other guys coming up the ladder. So I would kind of think in some ways there would just be a moment, maybe, I don't know, maybe you didn't look at Gaynor, maybe you didn't say hello to him one day. I mean, I know you've been around a long time in the circuit, so it can't be a matter of he doesn't, not respect you. It's not that. It just has to be something. I'm just, because it's just bizarre that you and Gaynor have had this back and forth, I think for the better part of 3 or 4 months now, and he has done everything he can almost to make you fail and take away something that you have done quite a job in representing as the DBW Global Champion.
I think it started getting worse when I started talking honestly on here. That was the first time I publicly said anything about Stephen Gaynor when I was on the show the last time. And it was just eating me. And maybe I should have spoken to someone else about it, but I don't really have that many people to speak to anymore. All these people, they've betrayed me. They've left my side. And I just had to air it out. I had to vent my frustrations publicly on DBW broadcasting. And
I've seen it. I've been watching. I'm in the chat sometimes. And I've seen even on screen, you and him have had come to blows a few different times. That's why I'm just curious because I felt like this would be a good time to address it now that we have a little bit of time to reflect on what's happened these last few months. And it's just kind of, I don't know. I don't see anybody else in the DBW locker room having the same problems with Stephen Gaynor that you are.
I haven't seen anyone else have that either. I haven't seen Chase
Yeah.
Wakefield have it. I haven't seen Big Tex have it.
Chase
I haven't seen Zach
Wakefield,
DeFew have it.
listen, and those two guys, oh my God, how many opportunities? Especially, I'm not even going there with you in Tex anymore.
Yeah. I'll just say Nostradamus doesn't have anything on me. That's what I'm
Yeah, I was gonna think about using that term, but considering what's going on in the world lately, I'm like, maybe not. But Wakefield got an opportunity that I don't even know how anybody could say he earned.
Yeah, I don't know how he earned it. I can't pinpoint it, and I think it was Stephen Gaynor looking for someone that he thought could get in my head. Not successfully, but he thought that person could get in my head. But the history
that you have with him, it offsets, and Chase even talked about it here on Sportswire. He talked about the history, the Dawn's March, Adam Anderson even. Yeah, I brought the name up. I mean, it goes back. I mean, you and him have a long, long history. I mean, he was 110 pounds today, but then he was like 65 pounds. I mean, that's how far you go back.
Yeah.
Chase is now gonna not come on the Sportswire anymore after that. Now be like, you know what? We're cutting the plug here. Rad Dad, no more Rad Dad, no more anything. But you know what I'm saying. The point is that I just don't know what you have to do to not have Stephen Gaynor on your back anymore.
I'm not sure. I don't know if I just have to keep putting people down until he doesn't have anyone to line up. I don't know if there's something that I have to do personally to him. That's not a threat. It's not a threat. I'm saying I don't know. So I don't know how to go about this other than just to play it by ear. I've been successful in all of his attempts. And I think the biggest mistake that he's made is he presents me with these people with almost a month in advance for the match. I am the most prepared person in DBW. Every time I prepare better than anyone that I know, not even DBW, everyone. I might not be the biggest. I might not be the strongest. I might not be the toughest or the fastest, but I will be the most prepared. I will always have a plan and it will always work. And that is why I have been the DBW Global Champion for almost a year. And that is why Austin James, who he selected at the end of Merry Mayhem, he gave me 3-4 months of prep time? That's hilarious. You really think I'm not going to come up with multiple ways to put him down? Fool everywhere. Clowns. It's a clown show.
I'm going to talk about Austin James later because Austin James came on to Sportswire.
Yeah, that was more about Gaynor. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about him later because we're going to watch the match with Wakefield. I want to watch it because I really enjoyed the match. Well, for the chat that didn't see, I don't know why you wouldn't have seen Merry Mayhem at this point. A finish that I was even certainly blindsided by and what you did there. But, just to get on Gaynor to wrap things up, you talked about now we've got a couple of months. Obviously, DBW will resume here in a few months and we'll obviously resume some of this. But, I mean, would there be a message that you'd have for Gaynor directly just to kind of say something if you wanted to him, if he was out there?
Honestly, if I could, I would have a conversation with him and ask him why, but I think he'd get me so mad to the point where I can't hold myself back. So I'm not going to do that. So all I really have to say is walk lightly.
Yeah, tread very lightly. But again, the people that you've had to wrestle, Cassidy, certainly Depew, Chooch, which I'm going to have an announcement for in a little while. Certainly we can keep the cat in there. Don't wrestle the cat and beat the cat out. But but we talked about Tex over and over and over. Wakefield. This is a long list of names that you've had to go through, and I'm not going to compare to the other champions. I think they've all had certainly their own unique paths to getting to the goal. But if I look at your last 4 or 5 months specifically, right, since some of these problems with Gainer have been happening, you have beaten, I would say, of all the champions in DBW consistently, maybe had the most difficult path to keeping your title, and maybe have beaten maybe the toughest opponents of any of the champions that we have in DBW. Don't you agree?
I can agree, and I can name some names that I haven't fought that are truly reputable, but I'm not going to do that because that's just going to jinx me. But I will say that I have beaten someone in a submission match who claims to be a specialist at submissions. I do not. What I will say is I beat someone in a one-on-one match who is nearly 3 times my size and retained my championship. What I will say is I beat someone with a cast on my hand due to him breaking it because of the carelessness of our general manager, and I still won. I prepared for every single one of these matches, and even the one that I did not get to prepare for, Nikki Chooch, I still walked away victorious.
I think that's just, again, you just summarized to me your body of work. Your body of work compared to a lot of people, not just in DBW even. It could be anywhere that comes on here. The caliber of opponents that you've had to go through to either keep your championship or to basically almost keep your job, as some could even look at it. I don't know if anybody else has had those obstacles, and Gainer, for whatever reason. So I'm just trying to figure it out here tonight. I think even Tweak is trying to figure it out. I mean, basically,
they're looking for a reason.
What in God's green earth has Steven Gainer decided to put you in all these different obstacles? I just think, to me, that's, I think, my question going into the next few months. Why?
Hopefully we can figure that out. That's what I'm really hoping. I really hope that maybe some point in the beginning of 2025, we can understand what is going on with Steven Gainer. Why is he a corrupt general manager? Why is he claiming that he's not a corrupt general manager? There's something going on, and I'm going to figure out what. Whether he thinks it's what's best for DBW or whether he thinks it's just picking a fight with a guy that he doesn't like, I'm going to prove to him that he's wrong either way.
See, I don't think... Yeah, well, you can keep tweaking in the show if you want, but I'm going to say it, Silas. I don't think this is best for DBW. I think people know your body of work. People know your track record. I mean, I don't really know, to continue to put you in obstacle after obstacle. How does that help business? Because you've already went through an injury that you had to work through, right? We know that. That's number one. For your champion to continue to work through what you've worked through, that's not necessarily best for business. And I think also you want to promote your champion and advertise your champion. You are basically our workhorse champion. We think of the global title in a way, it's kind of like our intercontinental title. It's our workhorse title. You are that guy. You are kind of our measuring stick right now in DBW. So it doesn't make sense to me to put you through all these obstacles that it would really be best for business. I just doesn't make any sense.
So I'm going to make a sports analogy. You're a sports guy.
I am a sports guy, yes.
So in sports, there's all different kinds of coaches, and there's all different styles of coaching. Mm-hmm. I'll use football for an example. That seems to be pretty popular. You have coaches that really want guys who are fast. You have coaches who really want guys who are like disciplined and respectable and don't run their mouths. There's a lot of teams that I can say are like that. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a great example. They don't pick people that don't work hard. They don't pick people that don't run their mouths. Now Gainer, I could compare him to someone that would be a coach on one of those teams. He wants someone that's going to go by the rules. He wants someone that's going to come in with a button-up shirt and a tie and, yes, sir, absolutely, sir. He wants someone that's going to do everything that he wants the right way.
There's a formula that they don't like to deviate from. There's a certain style, and that's what they feel kind of works. And if you don't go along with it, they look...
I think what Gainer thinks is, I'm not bad for DBW in a business sense, but what Gainer thinks is that I'm bad for DBW in a sense of, why is this guy the champion? Look at him. No one likes him. I don't think Gainer likes me enough to really believe that I am the guy.
Well, you know what?
You have an issue with a coach and a quarterback, there's not the right things are going to happen. They have to be on the same page, and Gainer's not on the same page. He's never been on the same page, and he's never going to be.
But you know what? Again, you've been successful. You've obviously done a lot this year. And it would seem like to me the tactical move is to work with your champion, especially as some would say, your measuring stick. And before I get to the match with Mary Mayhem, because I really want to talk about it further, please follow Silas on YouTube. We're trying to get him to 1,000 subs. We're going to put him in the Hall of Fame in a little while, and I'd like you to get him there. He's at 818 subs, so every little sub counts. I see a bunch of people in and out in the chat. I'll say hello to everybody here shortly, so thank you for that. So we're going to put the matchup here on the screen in a minute because I want to talk about it. I want to talk about Chase Wakefield because I always like talking about Chase Wakefield because I know he's listening out there. Actually, he is. He was in the chat. Actually, he told me he was very excited about this. I don't know what he has in store, but something tells me I think he's going to do what you did on his appearance on Sportswire. I think because he knows that obviously what happened to him, he's just going to be, quietly just hoping that he'll make it to the Chase Wakefield wedding invitation, a wink and a nod.
I think he's lucky that I didn't go further when I had the opportunity.
Well, you did it for Janie.
Yeah.
You did it for Janie. Okay, let me put the match up here. I'm about to do that. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay, now I got to timestamp it. Boom, boom, boom. While you do that, we're going to come right. You know what? We're going to let Chase come out. Okay, here we go. Give me 1 second. I now have to share the screen. Well, you figure to share the cat. You should keep the cat into the stream. You might actually.
No, I am. He's just knocking stuff off the shelf, and I'm trying to.
Oh, you know what? That's also a problem. Yeah, but you know what? At least you don't have the problem that my uncle has. My uncle is like a rescuer of cats. He must have like in his house, no joke. I think probably like 10 cats. But. I haven't been there. Yeah, in beautiful Bay Ridge. Well, he loves it. He's a man who gives back to the community. But I'm not going to talk about saving cats. I'm going to talk about saving Chase Wakefield's career. Now, I'm only kidding on the last. Well, actually, maybe. But we got the match. I could have played the promo video, but we see it here, and Mr. Wakefield is coming out. And obviously, it's kind of bizarre here, Mr. Walker, to see Wakefield in this position of slapping the fans, high five, running around. This isn't the Chase Wakefield I know. This is the Chase Wakefield that doesn't match up with the Bitcoin billionaire, the guy that goes around, did a documentary and, is basically trying his own version of the Blair Witch Project in Halloween. And yet he's here. And
collusion.
Yeah, this is not the Chase Wakefield I know. This is not a Chase Wakefield that I know. I mean,
see, I never knew Chase Wakefield. I knew Adam Anderson.
Yeah, well, how do you think Janie feels?
She never knew Adam Anderson. She might feel lucky. I don't know.
Boy, Mr. Wakefield, he's gonna have it out for me. Boy, you know what? I am gonna definitely earn whatever his wrath is. But you've come out here, and boy, Mr. Walker, you definitely almost look like Walker, Texas Ranger right now. You are definitely very mad.
See, I have to get in the ring with Gainer standing there. I have to get in the ring with Chase Wakefield, my opponent. I have to get in the ring with the referee, all of which don't like me. I know that referee doesn't like me. I shoved him by his face at the end of Danger Zone. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, but he seems to still be unbiased, unlike our general manager.
Well, I mean, I guess there are reasons, but Mr. Wakefield is here, and I guess from Gainer's perspective, because of the history that you two have, he feels that he can be enough of a challenge to take away that DBW Global Championship that you've held so firmly here for the better part of more than half a year.
Yeah, and there, I will say, I wish we had some better angles of this. We had some recording malfunctions for the.
Yeah, I'm not to break the fourth wall, but the two of you actually did tell me the same thing, and I was like, well, I still like the match, so we're not going to go down that road. But you know what? Listen, can't win them all, but Chase Wakefield, spoiler alert, definitely did win this one. Well, it'll be
he's not holding this.
Did he win a match this year? I feel like
I think so.
Did he win one? I feel like this was a topic on one of the shows. Boy, Chase, I tell you what, he is really, he's going to have it out for me. Boy, hopefully I got enough capital from bringing Rad Dad to him. Hopefully that'll maybe save me from him still coming onto Sportswire. But I did speak with Rad Dad. I'm going to bring up Rad Dad to you in a little while, actually, because there's something I do want to talk about. But no, I definitely want to talk about that. But we'll definitely get to that. But we're here now. And tell me what's going through your mind here right now as we're about to start the match.
Stick to your plan. Do what you need to do. Be aggressive. Don't let him do any weird shit. The thing is, this dude is bony, so his elbows and his knees will destroy you. And I've seen it. I've seen it multiple times. I've seen it in multiple states. This was a mistake by him. I don't know what he was thinking.
I think anytime Chase locks up with anyone, I can't, because he makes me look like almost like I don't know, Bobby Lashley or somebody with like even more muscles, I guess. I don't know. Rusev, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, but Mr. Wakefield got off to an interesting start, but he does use some of his, which I was about to say next. He does have agility, and I think that's Chase's strong point. He's very agile.
He's quick. Yes.
And you see that there. You do see that. And he comes back here, reverses you in a submission, and he's using some mat skills. So I think that's something that he uses here in the match to help him a bit. Maybe he figures that'll maybe wear you down a little bit. I suppose.
Not enough though. Too soon.
Well, obviously, but you get back here, and I say this all the time about you. I also think you're deceptively strong. And a lot of guys might look at you and say, well, he's tall but lanky. But I've said this a few times with you on the air. You are deceptively strong, I think.
I appreciate that. I try to be. And I'm doing everything I can every day to get even stronger and make my championship reign as good as it can. I will come back next year, Silas Walker 2.0.
Well, you don't have to. Just you're already legendary. But do you do you feel motivated because of the DBW Global Championship you've had now for a while, that maybe it fuels you in maybe your life to, improve other assets, whether it's conditioning, whether it's training? So do you feel maybe motivated right now and such?
No, absolutely. I won't deny that it's increased my confidence tenfold, but I don't think it's empty. That's not empty confidence. I've proven here in and here out that I can and will do it.
And I think Chase he met the turnbuckle.
Yeah, those turnbuckles don't taste too good.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that from a number of wrestlers over the years, and that's not going to taste too good. The irony of that was he hits one turnbuckle, two turnbuckles.
I couldn't find a way to get him to hit that bottom one.
I was going to ask you that when I watched it the first time, and I was like, I don't know what he's going to say.
I'd have to lawn dart him or something. I'd have to put that move in my repertoire.
You know what? I'm surprised Aaron Jones didn't lawn dart him with their so-called friendship all this time.
I'm surprised that was like a wishbone. I'm surprised that didn't break it.
And there's Mr. Wakefield, and he's obviously bony. I mean, bony, but you are definitely capitalizing on that. We are here with the DBW Global Champion, Silas Walker, who's really become one of my favorites on Sportswire over the past year or so. And we're watching his match at Merry Mayhem with another usual favorite of Sportswire Radio, Mr. Chase Wakefield, who I don't think is going to be too much of a fan of mine after this show, but I hope he still is listening. But I am the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, with all wrestling matters. Later on in the show, I will put Silas Walker in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame alongside Chase Wakefield. But Mr. Wakefield does use his agility, and he does come back here a little bit. And you beat his hip.
That was one of those bony elbows, caught me right along the jaw.
Yeah, that reminds me when I played basketball as a kid, and sometimes when you were, down below, because I think we're about the same height, and I would sometimes kind of play defense because I wasn't more of a scorer, and then I would meet a lot of the guys' elbows, and that's reminded me of
shoulders and elbows in basketball. Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
This was
that's
right in the schnoz. Oh.
And then there's Mr. Wakefield here coming up, and again, he's got agility and a nice little power bomb cover there. It was
and that's that unique offense that I was talking about that you don't really see from other people.
Yeah.
I'll give people dues where they're earned. Like some people do earn them. It's just they don't earn championship matches.
Well, that's obviously been well documented, especially in the case of Mr. Wakefield. But yes, I do agree with you that he does have an ability to kind of create his own offense. He does have an ability to do different things that makes him a dangerous wrestler, make him kind of an unpredictable wrestler. But I think his mistake there is he's mouthing off to you. You know, Wakefield's a veteran, and I think that that's where he makes a big mistake. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I think he's hurt. He's hurt by the fact that he's realized his wrongs from the Dawn's March, and he thinks that he's still my brother, and it's not. It's not the case. And that's what he was yelling about. I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but I heard him pretty up close. It was in my ear what he was yelling about. And that senton he did right after that,
Yes.
man, I don't know how 110 pounds can land so hard.
Well, you guys are going back and forth here. It's personal. I can see the personal animosity between the two of you. I see it in your, it almost reminds me of like, somebody red in the face and they want to fight somebody, and you are just laying into good old Chase. Hopefully Janie's covering her face when she's watching some of this.
Like, I'm a pretty good strategist. I do and don't do certain things in certain matches. This guy's so thin, I didn't want to try my missile drop kick. If I miss that somehow, if I don't get the perfect, I'm not. It'd be like missile drop kicking a flagpole.
Stop. All right. Well, that's well said. Touche. But I mean, you guys have such a history with each other. Once upon a time, do you then go back and watch old footage, or it's just like, I know this guy, I know what he's gonna do, and I just go out there?
So I actually haven't wrestled him too much. I wrestled him in my DBW debut, but that was a 6-person ladder match. I wrestled him in a triple threat match with Brandon Castelli some years ago. That was
I think I might have referenced that on the Sportswire with one of the three of you. I know I definitely did.
And other than that, it's just been some here and there's. We've tagged together, but I've never been on the side of fighting him until now. And he caught me off guard with some stuff.
I see that.
My plan always comes through. It always.
Oh, you certainly do that. Listen, you're one of these guys, again, always playing chess rather than checkers. But the history in terms of your careers overlapping, I was curious if there would any need to go back. But right now, listen, you guys are putting on a heck of a match. There's no question that you two guys definitely are putting on a banger of a match, literally. I mean, you're definitely banging into each other. And there was Mr. Wakefield.
That was unfortunate for me. I wasn't expecting that, so I just yanked him down. I didn't know what. I've never had someone in that position before.
Well, that might have been a good for the documentary. I mean, could you imagine? I mean, maybe Chase will, for the next documentary he does, he'll put one of his, I guess, praise in that position.
Something like that.
And how about this? Dude, I got to be honest. I know you are known for a lot of different things, but I mean, we're talking about creativity here. I don't know if I've seen this necessarily in wrestling. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me otherwise. I see a few wrestlers here, contemporaries of yours, but I mean, that was really clever off the top rope.
Thank you. I've never seen it from someone else, but I've done it once before. It was actually in that triple threat match with me, him, and Brandon.
That's a long time ago, though. That's a long time ago. And you knew you were
going
to do it right there.
A couple seconds, yeah.
You knew right there that, okay, I can pull that off and just.
Yeah. I knew right there that, like, okay, so he's underneath me. I don't want to have to work too hard. This guy's pissing me off. He got me in the jaw multiple times. I thought he broke my nose when he hit me with that code breaker thing. I had to check multiple times. I thought he got me.
And then we see here we have the EMT from obviously is on site, and they're checking you out. And I thought, Mr. Walker, something really happened to you. And I thought, it was funny. We talked about this. I think I was going on Sportswire, and I was waiting to go on, and I didn't get a chance to watch the match fully. I'm just trying to remember when this was. I think after Rad Dad was here. This was last week's show, and I was like, I went back and watched the finish, and I was like, wow, that really that was like, I mean, from what it seems like here, I mean, you're seriously injured, and this certainly could be a damper for anybody's 2024. But wait a minute, Mr. Walker, tell us here. Tell us what and how did this just happen?
I noticed his back was turned, man, and I just took advantage of the opportunity that was laid directly in front of me, regardless of who was around me or who got hurt in the process. I don't care.
But you were hurt. Well, you hurt though, Mr. Walker. I just saw
you see me hopping up and down on the thing.
So you weren't hurt at all. There was no pain.
I wasn't hurt. No.
Do you have any? So you would have done that again?
I would do that again. I don't know if people would believe it this time, but I would do it again if I knew they'd believe it. I'll tell you now that everyone in the room believed it.
I believe. I went back and watched it. I went back and watched it afterwards, and yeah, I was like,
you could have heard a pin drop.
I thought your career could have been in jeopardy with the way it seemed. You could have been out for a long period of time, and yet all of a sudden you're getting help to the back, and then bada bing, bada boom, to quote Nicky.
And I did catch a lot of grief. I caught a lot of grief for particularly what happened to the EMT.
Well, Austin James apparently gave you some grief because he came out apparently.
Yeah. I don't know what he was thinking. I just went through a match. What do you think? I'm going to fight you? You're a moron. We're going to be fighting in March. I got 3 months to prepare.
Maybe he wanted to introduce himself, wish you a happy New Year. Maybe he wanted to, I don't know, talk about New Year's resolutions. But yeah, he was really, and I had Austin on Sportswire, I think about 2 or 3 weeks before this, maybe less than 3. I think about the 11th or whatever it was, right around the 10th, which would put it 2.5 weeks before this. And Austin talked about gold, but I didn't realize he was talking about this. I thought he was thinking, all right, maybe the Hub City title and maybe Ace Christian, maybe the world title, maybe something else. But he ran out to you after your match, after all you went through, Silas Walker. What a legendary performance you had. Some would say maybe for this year's Oscars, Silas, I know the Oscars are still a few months away, but maybe you could have deserved an Oscar nomination for what I just saw. If I were to do the Oscars on Sportswire, I know there's a lot of things we could do on Sportswire. People ask me to do different things. But you know what? Maybe I will give you an Oscar. I'll tell you what, Silas, because I've watched a lot of wrestling this year. I think there's nobody that can take that away from me. Myself and Copper Dragon. Maybe we've watched the most matches. I wouldn't hold a candle to Copper Dragon. But Silas, from what I saw, maybe what Austin James really should have been doing is he should have came out and decided, you know what, Silas Walker, for that performance you had with Chase Wakefield, everything that happened with the injury, that he was going to maybe formally introduce you to getting an Oscar nomination, or at the very least win the Sportswire Radio Oscar Academy Award for your heroic recovery and performance with Chase Wakefield and Mary May.
I wish he would have done that. Maybe I would have shook his hand instead of telling him to eat rock and go away. But
I think we're going to give you an Academy Award. I tell you what, you come back in March. Can somebody in the chat tell me when the Oscar? I think you're going to win an Oscar this year. I think that I'm going to give you an Oscar.
I hope so. That'd be awesome to win an Oscar.
I'm going to give you the Sportswire Oscar. Boy, there's going to be people out there. They're going to talk about nepotism here, but I think you're going to win it. I think that performance. That's what Austin James should have been doing. Austin James should have came out there and introduced you as the Sportswire Radio Oscar winner of the year for your heroic performance and your heroic recovery against Chase Wakefield for your DBW Global Championship at Mary Mayhem. But yet instead, he didn't do that. He got in your face, and now he wants you in March. That's not what should have happened.
I can't really... I don't know who actually would have been my next challenger. I don't know who would have been the natural guy in line, but Austin James, isn't he a tag team guy? Wasn't he?
Well, if you
Wasn't he the guy that retired twice or something from DBW because of his shoulder?
Well, I mean, if you want to be technical, wasn't he the guy that was wrestling in a tag team title match earlier in that show?
Yeah, that you know what that shows to me. So
What?
we could say he was corrupted there. That just shows a weak mind. That shows a weak
Well,
mind that can be easily influenced. And what I can do to a weak mind that's easily influenced is anything. You better close your ears, Austin James, because once I get in them, you're done.
I like Austin a lot. He was on here a couple weeks ago. He's back on Sportswire at some point real soon. But you made an interesting point, champ, in that he's been a part of Ego, right, for all this time, right? Roland Havoc's obviously doing different things. Colin Graves has been battling with Brandon Castelli, a man that was your, obviously, brother and ally in the Dawn's March a long time ago. Ace Christian was in the group, and, now I'll have an announcement for him in a little while. And then he was corrupted for a brief period of time. But it seems to me like Austin James can't figure out almost how to get himself into any real championship-like situation. See the growing and continued theme. Chase Wakefield, Jacob Cassidy, Zachary Depew, now Austin James. Seems like Stephen Gainer's putting through the same steps you've had to deal with all these months, and Austin James is yet another part of this pattern.
I don't know what Gainer has for these guys. I don't know what he has for them. I don't know if it's friendship. I don't know if it is nepotism. It might be.
It might be to me because Austin James, and I love Austin. He had an amazing run, and he had a couple of little brief time in GTS. Amazing. We talked a lot about that. Rad thinks highly of Austin James.
I'll give him his due where it's earned, just like
absolutely,
I did.
Absolutely. But to me, let's go through these names. Zachary Depew. We got, obviously, I'm not even talking to you anymore of any questions about Big Tex. Jacob Cassidy, not going there. And then Chase Wakefield. And now Austin J. It's the same pattern. Same pattern. There has to be nepotism because all these guys have a thing in common. They shouldn't be getting title shots against you. That's what it seems.
The one that I will give the devil his due is Zach Depew pinned me. Zach Depew has a recorded win over me on Thursday Night Thunder.
And he did.
Now, it was because Gainer won the match right.
Yeah, what he did to Jackson Snow, obviously, saving himself, and now he's obviously got gold in his own right. Fine, but
but Zach Depew had to do that after he fought me, so he certainly didn't earn a shot at the Global Championship. Which, by the way, it might not be the DBW World Heavyweight Championship, but it damn well might as well be to me. This thing means more than any belt in DBW. I have legitimized this thing. You can look at the champions of the past. You can look at guys like Brandon Castelli, who is the current world champion, but I've had a better run than him with this. You can look at guys like Novin. He's held the belt. I've had a better run than him. You can look at guys who are now going to the moon in the independents.
I actually spoke about one of those names. I think I know you're talking about. One of those names came up on my show Wednesday. How about that name, RJ Carnage? Remember the name?
Yeah.
Remember the name? It was a big topic on Wednesday.
That's the guy I was just talking about.
I know it. I know who you were talking about.
What I have done with this. So this might not be the DBW World Championship, but this is my world, and I am DBW.
Well, you know what? You are. And last I checked, global is the world. And Rad actually talked about this last week. This is the definition of a world champion because he's a global champion. And he's been going out there time and time again against a slew of some of the very best out there, whether it's nepotism, whether it's obstacle courses, whether it's Academy Award nominations, whatever it might be. Silas Walker is continuing to prove why he is legendary. Silas Walker is continuing to prove why, for the foreseeable future, he is the reigning, defending DBW Global Champion. And Stephen Gainer may not like it, but that's how it's going to be. And we are now going to get to the chat because you've all been waiting so patiently. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice, figuratively and literally, we're all wrestling. By the way, if you are here, do me a favor. DBW almost at 4,000 subs. Hit the sub button for DBW. 4,000 subs that's not easy. They got there. They're going to get there. Silas, YouTube, please, if you're here in the chat, hit the sub button for him. I would appreciate that. Let's get to the chat because I do want to give you a couple of different flowers you might want to say. Not quite flowers, but you get the point. Nathaniel Rage, my buddy, who I always speak with, is actually the first person. Zilla's usually the first person. I thought Zilla, who has such a strong affinity for you, but it's actually Nathaniel Rage is the first comment. The devil's here. Hey, everyone. Happy New Year. Yes, we love him. Nathaniel's become a favorite, and he's got a lot of interesting stuff, and he's not too far from you. He's a West Virginia guy, by the way. West Virginia guy looking to return to the ring, and he's also got a YouTube channel, House of Rage Productions, and Zilla doesn't even say hello to you first. She comes to you second.
Hi, Zilla.
Yeah, Zilla, I won't ask Zilla to come on and say hello to you. I would make her too nervous. We don't want to do that.
I saw Zilla was on the other night. Was that New Year's?
Yes, it was New Year's. Yes, and it was, I was like, okay, Zilla, I won't post on Instagram. Don't worry about it. You were here. I appreciate it. And we're just happy to have her. But we thank you for that. I said you'd be here in about 15 minutes because people were asking about you. So, yep. And I said hello. Somebody wanted to say late, Silas. Well, I think you've made up for it because I got a bunch of people on YouTube. So apparently being late actually worked. So I can't complain.
What can I say? I'm an important person. I get pulled all.
You know what? I think I have a guy, Justin Parsley, in the chat who's always late every time on Sportswire, the quote-unquote hall monitor of the Hall of Fame, which you're about to join in a few minutes. But so Mr. Parsley's always late. Nobody can be as late as him. And this individual, who's no longer Big Tex, but said, "Good evening, Silas. I hope you enjoyed the show at Merry Mayhem." Not asking you anything further on him, though. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Rob Ryan of Wrestling Zero in beautiful Australia. Yes, the land down under, and won an award in our award show. Good to see Rob Ryan. Love Rob. Robbie's always doing a good job. And yes, he is one half of our Wrestling Zero Tag Team Champions. I'll say it straight up to you, Silas. You were right. Nostradamus. I don't know. Maybe you should have people play the lotto with your overseeing. Maybe you could help people win the lotto. I don't know.
See, I try sports betting, and I'm not good at that. I usually don't do too well with
that. Yeah, you know what? Somebody asked me this yesterday on Sportswire, and I was like, I don't bet. People ask, you'd be great at gambling and bet. I'm like, I just don't. But I hope you do get it right on the betting. I'm sure you will. Speaking of people that are here from way on the other side of the country.
Oh, yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
Aaron Blaze is in Oregon, apparently. He's in Oregon. Yeah. Now.
I saw, I'm friends with him on a couple different platforms, and I saw his pictures on his airplane. I saw him jet flying, limousine riding all the way over to where he's gone, and that's gonna be cool.
Well, you know what? I gotta say it. Well, I'm gonna say it because RJS posted on his Instagram story, and it was a bunch of them. I guess they were out somewhere, and it was Aaron Blaze, and it was RJS, it was Comatose, and it was some of those other guys there in Oregon, and he was there. Aaron Blaze is really in Oregon. Wow, I mean, he really made it. I mean, I think that's really cool. And RJS is a guy he's come down this way. He's wrestled Navon. He's been up this way, and RJS is a great guy, and we're going to see Aaron Blaze eventually wrestle some of these guys. Interesting thing.
That'll be cool. Yeah,
it's a cool thing. I'm happy about that.
The new frontier. I'll have to hit.
It is a new thing. It's almost like when in baseball in the 50s when they expanded. Unfortunately, it was at the behest of us here in Brooklyn, where the Dodgers moved to Los Angeles and the Giants moved to San Francisco. But maybe Aaron Blaze, instead of his own promotions, moving to Oregon. Maybe just like the Dodgers and Giants moved in baseball, and maybe Aaron Blaze is moving to Oregon. He might have better luck there because in his own Fed, he couldn't win the world title. So maybe that's where
don't tell anyone, just like the Colts did.
Yeah, that was a bad one. That was the with the Mayflower trucks, right? And they all of a sudden just went in the dead of the night.
Baltimore in the middle of the night. They packed everything up and just left.
See, you know what? I don't know if you could, real quick on sports. I don't think you could get away with that today. Years ago.
Oh, no, you'd have people. Hey, what's going on? Why are they pulling all the stuff out of the stadium?
What was that? In the 80s? I mean, I think you could do.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
You could probably have gotten away with that. I just don't know. Like today, you could have did that. But you know what? We'll figure it out. Yes, thank you, Zilla. And he is here. I knew he'd be here. We'll get to him. He has a lot to say. He has a lot to say tonight, actually. It's not about the wedding this time. That's why I'm going to say that the DBW Global Champion, Silas Walker, is the best wrestler in DBW. And also, you know what? I got to be honest. You have had one of the best years in all of the wrestling that I've covered in the pub. I really would say that you would be right there with some of the names. I think, CJ Black, the good guy, certainly Omen Black, Aaron Blaze, Comatose. A lot of these guys have come on. You're there. I mean, you're right there. You've had pound for pound a really impressive year. I mean, as a matter of fact, you've had an impressive year with my guest that's coming on here tomorrow night, the brand new VTW champion, Ace Christian, is live 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. And he's got an announcement, a major announcement that I think, speaking about Aaron Blaze and Frontiers and Aaron Blaze opening up a new door and going in a different place, I think what Ace Christian is going to announce tomorrow night, I think it's going to be maybe even
I think
bigger.
it is too. I think I know what you're talking about. And
yeah, I think what he's going to announce tomorrow night, I think it might even be bigger than Aaron Blaze's announcement. I promise you, you're going to want to watch this. And Ace Christian is, I mean, what an unbelievable run. What he did in VTW this year. He's been doing stuff in the independents, his work in DBW lately. I mean, this is going to be one you're going to want to tune into this one. Whatever you do, forget about Vikings Lions for the first half. I promise you'll be off by the second half. Whatever you're doing, I don't know where you could be in the middle of January and 20 degrees outside. You're going to want to tune into this one. Trust me. This is going to be one of those you're going to remember. When he makes his announcement, I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss Ace Christian, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, right here. We're doing great, I think. I think we're doing great. How's the weather by you in Australia? Big Tex is dead. Long live Colton Lee.
I killed him.
Did you?
I think I killed him.
Jackson Snow could have got a piece of that.
Maybe.
Jackson Snow would have been a piece of that. I hope he's doing well, Jackson Snow. I hope he's doing well in retirement.
I haven't heard from him.
Speaking of my buddies, my good friend, Mr. Kyle Shelby. How you doing, Kyle? Good to see you, my man. The Duke of Detroit is in the house, training hard in ROEW. Yes, Silas's YouTube channel. Want to plug that. Yes. Zilla believes in you. Zilla does believe in you. Zilla believes in you. Want to say hello to my buddy, Mr. Ox McCoy. Ox actually made this funny video. I don't know. Maybe I should play it. He made a funny video, and I think I'm going to play. I hope I don't get canceled for this, but let me pull it up, actually. It's only 10 seconds. It's actually not a long video, so I'm going to play it because I think Ox would get a kick out of it if I play it. I just have to find the email because I think there's like two. There we go. Okay, let me play this video. Let me see if the chat can see. All right, so we're going to play it. It's a 10-second video. You almost have to see it because if you'll blink and you'll miss it. So if the chat can see, here we go. Okay. Now I'm going to play it. Let's see what the chat thinks. Here we go. Who's Gary? Just put the cigarette down here. We're live.
Where you have made world, put that cigarette out.
Gary. He put. Yeah, we'll take that off. He got copied, obviously, the 1992 Royal Rumble. So that's what he actually.
That was good. That was pretty good.
That was.
I was watching that stream. It was a little odd.
It was odd. Omen was bleeding, and then Justin Parsley all of a sudden whips up a pack of cigarettes and starts smoking them. Yeah, it was definitely the Twilight Zone kind of. A Happy New Year, I guess, from some of those guys.
Yeah,
I thought we were going to get a darker gimmick of Chase Wakefield. Well, that was the documentary, Zilla. If you watch the documentary of Chase Wakefield. Yeah, that would be that. That would be like Nasofer True, whatever the name of the movie is. That would be something like that. But yes, hi to Ox. We love Ox, and we appreciate that. But Aaron Blaze has this comment here, which I don't know why from Oregon Aaron Blaze would make this comment. This seems to me, Silas, really out of left field. Aaron Blaze as a DBW champion this year sounds like a good idea. 2025 is my year after all. But he's in Oregon right now. How could he make?
You are in Oregon right now.
So why would he say all of a sudden randomly DBW champion? He doesn't work in DBW.
I mean, DBW is hot. There's a lot of people that have been inquiring about going there or just mentioning going there or wanting to go there.
On the tag titles, the Prodigies were here, and they were telling me right before they came back, they were here on Sportswire, and they were like, "We got unfinished business," and well. things got screwy because they got those tag team titles back.
Yeah, the Prodigies, I wouldn't want to mess with them.
Yeah, I know. They come from Brooklyn. I actually know where the guys went to high school. We spoke about this on the air. I know these guys. I know kind of guys like them. I was in the street today with guys like these guys. But yeah, Aaron Blaze doesn't work in DPW, though. He doesn't work there.
So Aaron Blaze, you think, I don't know if you think you can or if it's just an idea that you like the sound of.
Maybe it's an idea.
But DPW is an ocean.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that you are not fit for it, but a lot of the times, from what I've seen, and I've been in DBW since 2018, a lot of the times when people think that they can come into DBW from a pond, the ocean overwhelms them, and the other fish swallow them whole. Now, you might be able to compete with some of the other fish. You might be able to compete with some of the people in DBW. But I'm a shark. So watch out. Do not step in my division.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
There's the Anarchy Championship. There's the Hub City Championship. Hell, there's the World Extreme Championship. If you want to go fight Sammy Nothing and get cut open just like Jacob Cassidy did, be my guest. But yeah, I'm a shark, and I will eat you alive.
You know what? Aaron Blaze and DB, I don't know. I think he needs to you do you in Oregon. This is just way off the. I don't know where he gets these ideas. I don't know where he gets these ideas. I mean, at least he's not going to Indiana, thank God. At least he's not going there. I mean, but we're certainly nobody would go there anyway in that place. But that's a different show for a different time. Aaron, let's go after the tag gold.
Are they going to fight the Prodigies?
Yeah, I don't know about that. But people get ideas. It depends on where. I think even he's alluding to it. Yeah, I know the Prodigies. I mean, Jimmy Controversy loves the Prodigies. By the way, Jimmy Controversy, he loves the Prodigies. I mean, he loves Rad Dad. By the way, the stepdads are going to have to face the Prodigies next weekend.
I wish I could be there. I really wish I could be there just to be in the audience because, man. The Prodigies are awesome. Those are great guys. They're friends of mine that I've known for a little bit, and they know how to get it done.
Absolutely.
But the stepdads,
dude,
they've been around forever. And Rad might be at the top of the game of the whole underground scene. I know he also does independence as well. But when it comes to the underground stuff, he might be the top of that mountain.
That's such an intriguing match to me because you got the stepdads and then you got the Prodigies. The Prodigies... Now, the stepdads and the Prodigies, Rad has sort of crossed paths with them, but they really, to me, it's a dream match really right now because the Prodigies, what they've done for tag team wrestling and the stepdads, listen, I would love to be a fly on the wall when that match happens, but the only way you can do it is check it out next weekend. And shout out to Yaya the Gremlin for the New Jack tribute show, and definitely want to go out and check it out. We can go to DBW or anywhere, to be honest. Good point. Aaron Blaze, though, said he's riding solo this year.
Okay.
All right. Bro's just trying to drag Chase like he's a rag doll. That was a pretty good one. Lame. I want to say hello to James Taylor. James Taylor, of course, the ROEW. If you don't mind, obviously, speaking of places and such, and, Aaron Blaze is, I think, still a part of ROEW. But, you have had an amazing run, and, guys talk about different places, but I don't know if James could do anything one day, but I would love one day, if you did go anywhere, to see you in an ROEW. Maybe that's where you should, maybe have a chat with Aaron Blaze about maybe some of his plans because, kind of is halfway for him, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Michigan. Maybe that would be maybe a place that you could talk to Mr. Blaze and maybe have him reevaluate or reconsider some of his ideas.
I have a radar. I do have a radar.
Yeah, you do.
And ROEW, it's come up on that radar a few times. I'll leave it at that. And 2025 has a lot of opportunities. It's still very early. And it's piqued my interest.
It's a good one. I think you'd fit really well in ROEW. I think there's a lot of DBW guys that would fit well in there. Yourself, obviously. Mr. Wakefield, I'm sure, would probably love to be there. Brandon. I think there'd be certain names that would fit well. I think there is that almost synergy that I would see some of that. And maybe that's where you could talk to Mr. Blaze about maybe reevaluating his plans or considering his options should he show up in a DBW place.
I'm
If
not
that's
saying he shouldn't. I'm just telling him to be careful and watch who he goes
that's
after.
true. That's a good point too. Duly noted. Got a lot of comments here. Let me get through there. But the RWW could be an option like that. Hello to James. Hope James is feeling better. Mr. Wakefield, those got plenty of comments. This man fooled everyone, including me. I really thought he was hurt, and even though all the things he said to me, I still had the heart to care.
Well, sometimes heart doesn't get you what you need. You know, I've got a heart too, Chase, but mine's a heart of stone and a mind of gold. Maybe you should reevaluate and try to make that happen.
Ooh, Mr. Wakefield ain't going to like that one. Hello there to Mr. Justin Parsley. Good evening, Silas and Tom. Thank you, Mr. Parsley, the hall monitor of Sportswire Radio. And then Mr. Wakefield goes further, but he had to come back and be, well, seedy.
Shiesty.
I was going to not say that, but I understood what he meant.
That word gets bandied around a lot, especially with our group, because there's a particular individual that would he would use that word, and it was, I don't know.
I don't use it admittedly because there was somebody I know, and they said if you use that word, it's like bad around certain people, and I was like, all right, I ain't gonna use it again. I ain't gonna use it. All right, but I know exactly.
Oh, I did not know that. Huh.
Yeah, well, whatever it is, but
yeah,
you can use it. You can use it. But there's Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. Is there a window open? I felt a breeze. Oh, he's talking about the match. I think he's talking about certain spots, but that was a while ago. All these years, and you do this to me, Walker. All these years, and you do this to me.
I don't know if you're trying to make me feel bad, Chase, but any guilt that you try to put onto me isn't going to work.
Well, wait till there's more further comments. There's going to be something next coming. Justin, what does that even mean? And he says March. I don't know what March means. March Madness is coming.
The Dawn's March? I don't know.
Well, March Madness is coming in college basketball. Now I got this Herb talking smack about me too because he's mad I kicked him off the card.
Oh, he's talking about Parsley. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Justin Parsley. Yeah, Justin Parsley kicked off the card. He was told that he could show up as a fan. But you know what? That's okay. Mr. Parsley, has certainly been a topic in another place. That
I'll give him a Silas Walker sign to hold in the audience so he can really feel like he's a part of things.
Well, you know what? That would be a great sign for him to hold. I think I would certainly endorse that. And he's okay. I'm not a fan. I shouldn't be there as a fan. It's pretty simple. He feels that he should be there to wrestle. And then
I've heard of fans wanting to get in the ring, but I've never heard of wrestlers wanting to go out in the crowd and watch.
I'm trying to think. Have there ever been a segment like that a wrestler watch as a fan? I think there was a segment with Nash and Hall once on a Nitro. They were like showed up watching as a fan. I think that's.
Yeah, I've seen that where like Sting, they take off the Sting mask.
Yeah.
And underneath it was actual Sting. They did that on TNA.
I think but it's far few in between. Oh my God! Why would you do that, Chase? Well, how the tables have turned. Now have been fingered. Okay. Now this is where I think he did not like the Oscar reference. This man is nothing but an actor, and his act fooled me. I'm ashamed of myself that I couldn't save that division from the hands of someone like you, Walker. You're just like the guy you inspire to be.
I know who you're referring to, but I'm not inspiring to be anyone. I'm me. And that's plain and simple. I'm me. Everyone in the world gathers bits and pieces from other people into their own lives and their personalities. So Chase Wakefield, I'm sure you've taken some things from me. I've just like I'm sure everyone's taken some things from everyone else.
Yep.
I don't know what you're on about, Chase. I don't know if you're trying to hurt me. Like I said, I don't feel guilt.
Well, if you want to watch more Silas Walker and Chase Wakefield back and forth, you can always watch on the DBW YouTube page. I cannot stress enough the fact we have a lot of people watching tonight. Follow. And he says, Jason Walker would have been proud, I guess.
Jason Walker. Don't talk about him. Don't talk about
Nope.
Jason Walker.
I'm not.
Do you know who Jason Walker is, Tom?
I've heard the name. Yeah, it was
Okay,
came
you've
up.
heard
On,
it. All right.
Yeah, it came up on Facebook. It came up on Facebook not too long ago. Actually,
Okay.
I think we talked about it with Kyle. We not talk about this on Facebook? We not. I feel like we did. I said a few words about this because I do feel like this came up once on the Sportswire.
So I'll leave it with this. So if anyone has watched NFW,
Yep.
that was the New Frontier Wrestling, the cinematic wrestling project that I was a part of. Jason Walker at one point was a brother of mine, right? But he never betrayed me. Honestly, I think I betrayed him at one point, and things got rough. But we ended up still being friends at some point until the end. But throughout NFW, he was targeted by Novin, and Jason Walker, I'll leave it at this, he's no longer with us.
Yep.
So the reason my name is the way it is out of respect. It's out of homage. It's not me trying to be another person. How dare you, Chase Wakefield? This is, again, the last time I was on Sportswire, I was saying, how dare you embarrass me? But now, how dare you use his name to put me down?
We'll move on here. Obviously, we know it's a sensitive subject, and we will certainly move on here. Novin, I hate you. We will let Mr. Walker obviously figure out to rearrange himself. And Zilla does agree about nepotism in DBW. A belt, hold your pants up, buddy. That's a championship. Chase Wakefield here with jokes. It's not a laughing matter on Sportswire. It's a title, a championship, a strap trophy, MF for laughing my ass off. Chase Wakefield, be nice. He doesn't deserve it. He had to trick everyone to beat me. It's turning personal tonight on Sportswire. And I still have to induct Mr. Walker in the Hall of Fame. Speaking of people that is here, my man Nolan Money McDermott. Yours truly is here. The real deal. The true champion, the villainous king. We got a lot of comments still. The chat is getting interesting. Oh no, the team who Anthony Steele is here. Anthony Jr. is here, everyone. Mr. Irrelevant Championship 9-year run is here. We're not going there tonight. Hey, nice trampoline. How high can you match? Thank you, Nathaniel Rage. Finally, somebody brings it back. Great match. I couldn't agree with you more.
Thank you.
I myself am working on a vertical leap in a wrestling ring. You'll get there one day, kiddo. A lot of comments tonight. A lot of people want to talk to you tonight. I still perform on a trampoline. Yes, we love trampoline wrestling. Copper Dragon always says trampoline wrestling is a very important form of wrestling. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Trampoline wrestling is really important. I was a huge part of a trampoline fed, and I was in some great matches back then.
I just talked about Oregon, RJS, all those guys, and they're hell of a talents. I want to bounce in a trampoline again. That's Sean Jovi's line, by the way. We all start somewhere, stepped into a ring. We'll continue to do so. Get your studies up before we throw shade. Thank you very much. I studied in wrestling school, and I study every day. Yes, we want to move it. I didn't need a wrestling school to get good how I am. Yes, you can certainly learn. I think that's an interesting topic for a different show. I love, like, and appreciate Nolan Money McDermott. Nolan, he's our man. If he can't take your gimmick, no one can. All right, let's get to some other comments. I get the back and forth. I want to talk about Silas Walker. Just like how I can play guitar and learn songs without needing tabs. Well, you can if you play to the CD. My dad always said if you play to the CD, you can sort of learn through it if you know the chord structure. So, yes, you can certainly do some of those things. Yes, we love Shelby. Yes, we love Kyle. We love everybody here. Originally, it was a WWE. Okay, let's move on here. I don't want to talk more about that. Congratulations, Kyle. Let's move on. Let me get to some Silas comments. The weather is very hot. It's 39 degrees Australian, and I did my first live Instagram. Yeah, I think I missed that. I wish it could be like 39. I like it hot, Robert. I will tell you what, being out today, I'll take hot any day of the week. I used to be cold weather all the way. No more. I don't want no more. Okay, Chase, I don't like it then that hot, but it's better than cold. Yes, there you go. Man, if I was allowed to share who wants to come here, that would be a bombshell. Yeah, don't do that yet. When is your next appearance on Sportswire? I'm the admin of the DBW Facebook page, so all I see all the DMs. Boy, don't tell us who they are. I bet it would break the internet. I'll whip their asses, Silas. Stay away from the World Extreme Championship. Wait, no. I'm not going there because we don't want him in championship matches. No. We don't do that. That would be like the Chicago Cubs and getting the World Series. We're not going there. Buddy,
I'm putting Alabama in the playoffs.
Moving on, buddy. I'm already breaking the internet with BTW. CFL isn't that an MMA company? No, it's Colton Lee. We've reached that point. Yeah, the World Extreme Championship. Brother Blaze context 10 times World Extreme Championship. Yes. Okay. Aaron, if you come to DBW, I am stepping in the front of the line for you. I did it with Delta. I'll do it with you too. Well, say who knows? Jimmy Controversy, yes, he's an interesting fellow. Jimmy Controversy is an interesting guy. I actually like Jimmy a lot. He's a really interesting guy. He's like very interesting. Also, people can't keep saying I'm a big fish in a small pond anymore. There's literally no way anyone can look at me like that with a straight face. Well, I mean, he's in Oregon.
All right, hold on. I'm sorry that I called you a big fish in a small pond. But DBW is still an ocean. I'm not comparing anything that you have done or lessening anything that you have done because I like you, Aaron Blaze. I respect you. But DBW, I don't know how big some of the rosters that you have been to are, but DBW has a consistent roster of around 30 plus people. So there is a huge competitive atmosphere in DBW. And I just want everyone who is thinking about coming to DBW to take that into consideration and do your best, not only in the ring, but in your production, in your presentation, in everything that you do, because it will get noticed if you try your best and it's good.
But I tell you what, I'll say, and I'll do it respectfully, DBW would be the most unique atmosphere he's been to because of the roster number. He's obviously ROEW. Certainly, I will suppose what happens in Oregon, but they don't have 30 members. That's like the most. I say that I love both companies. He's
been to a lot of places that I want to go, and I give him all the props in the world for going there. I'm not calling him a small pond. I mean,
I think the DBW environment's a very unique one. It would be the most unique environment that he would go to. But we'll have to see. That's up to him. I don't know.
A river, and we'll say Aaron Blaze is used to being in lakes, and we are a river with rapid moving waters.
You know what? I am certainly going to go along with that. Silas and Chase need to come to Michigan. I endorse this. ROEW or UCA. Yeah, you know what? I think Michigan, ROEW is a name that a lot of people would like to go to. And I think that with James Taylor in the chat, I think that would be a really good idea. I would love to see Mr. Wakefield and Mr. Walker. Obviously not together because they're obviously mortal enemies right now, but mortal enemies is like, certainly
Satan. Book us on like opposing dates.
Just don't do it. It's more like a lake now. There you go. Reminds me of the Ring of Fire. Silas Walker, so Chase Wakefield, stop talking about my crush, Jack Delta. Well, he got crushed by Soldier GP, but I'm not going there, folks. I love both guys. I'll be going to Iowa in September. I could stop by. Oh, what are you going for in Iowa? Is there Field of Dreams this year? Move on. We got a lot of comments tonight, boy. A lot of people want to talk. Yeah. Literally, the last two big places I've been, I ain't intimidated. Clearly, name one other person, especially at my age, doing the same thing or anything close. No, I think that's a good point. No. I think that's a great point. Very well taken. There's nobody that's done that at 19.
No, I think Trailblazer is a good moniker. Trailblazer is a great moniker. You're doing great things, and I'm not talking down to you. Just be prepared if you come to DBW.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Chase, don't spoil tomorrow's show. Don't spoil tomorrow's show. You wait for that. But I won't go there. VTW is Versus the World Wrestling. You should definitely check it out. It's got some DBW members on there, a bunch of different guys that have really been, I think, have some of the more I think, better wrestling you'll see anywhere. It's a very high quality wrestling product. It's a roster not as big as DBW, but the roster that it's on there, it's almost like the all-star game of underground wrestling, if that makes sense to you. You got the
they're like DBW's sister company. We work with
Yeah.
them, they work with us. I haven't been there for quite some time, but I have plans to hopefully be there this year.
And I agree with you on Kyle. It's a great place. A great place. I mean, actually traveling a distance, Maryland to North Carolina ain't shit. Same with New York. I told Aaron already. When are we meeting? He does, well, if people in Colorado, California, New Mexico would stop being, we can go there too. What is New Mexico? What is the?
Yeah, I don't know what's in New Mexico.
What's in New Mexico? Like, I don't know.
Sand.
I don't know. Yes, we like Ox for the video. Ox didn't even say anything. I think she maybe referred to the video. Yeah, we did talk about Jason. Yes, we did. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle, for bringing it back. Yes, the video he made. Who else we got here? He had to leave because he knows I'm right and he's hurt. Well, you're back now. You're back now, and I didn't put you in the Hall of Fame yet. We talked about it already. I'm still waiting for the response to the distance plate piece Chase. Maybe you should wake up before I have you laying in a field. Maybe but you know what? He may not make it to the wedding if Blaze gets his way. Maybe it's, do you want it to be called the Silas Walker Wedding Invitational instead?
I don't know, because I haven't really thought of a name.
The Silas Walker Wedding Invitation. I don't know if you're going to get
married. It's not my wedding, but
I don't know.
But it could be my invitational if I take the. I don't know.
You know what? We'll see. I saw Gabe Sayers today with his show. They had sponsors. Maybe we'll sponsor you as the wedding invitation. I'll give Chase a check and I'll change the name to you. Maybe I'll cut Chase a check.
The sponsor. Gabe's doing great things.
Gabe, great guy. No, he's a guy who got a couple of sponsors and he actually got them sponsor a match. Maybe I'll cut Chase a check for the wedding and I'll actually sponsor you. Which actually, speaking of that real quick, I was speaking to Rad Dad last week. Your name was mentioned. Rad speaks to me very frequently. I speak to Rad, and he messages me. And I know you got a lot. You're dealing with Gaynor. You're dealing with, obviously, Austin James now. You're one-time acquaintance, let's just say, in the Dawn's March. But, I know you're busy, man. I know you got a lot on your plate. You're the global champion. We're going to put you in the Hall of Fame in a few minutes to close the show. But what would you say if I said to you that if I could, I don't know, maybe pull a string or two, that you get the opportunity to wrestle this guy, Rad Dad Radley Belmont? What would you say about that, sir? If I could, pull a string or two. If you only, you talk about nepotism. I know this might be maybe a counterintuitive to your argument all hour or so on Sportswire, but what do you think about you and Rad Dad in a match?
Well, you're not my boss, so there's no nepotism there.
All right, thanks.
Me and Rad in a match. Yeah, I've got to say, I've seen him when I was too young to probably.
Guys tell me that all the time. They message me and they're like, "Wow, Rad actually, he was. I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna say he was blown away last week that many people watched him. Even he was like." Really blown away by responses. A lot of guys.
Yeah, the GBYWN was huge for a lot of people and influenced a lot of current and even current and past backyard and underground wrestlers. So if to have an opportunity to get in the ring with him, it would be a blessing. But I gotta say, I'm not someone that comes off and says the dream match with this guy, the dream match with this guy.
Everybody on Sportswire does it. I know. I understand.
But if I had one dream match, and I'm not saying this to down anyone else, but if I had one dream match, I just think the matchup. You look at the two very. You go about it.
I think your ring style. I think I'm watching you and starting to be more fluent with you over the past year. I just look at your wrestling ability, and I know what Rad looks for. I'm not going to say it on the air. I know what he looks for, even though I know Delta will say I don't know a lot about this stuff, but I know at least enough to kind of make a hypothesis, and I know what Rad would look for in an underground opponent, and I actually think you fit a lot of that criteria. I think you fit a lot of that. I watched Santiago, who he's wrestling tonight. Whatever it comes out, you'll figure it and watch. We'll talk about it. you're in that lane of opponents that I think Rad would look to wrestle based on his criterias. I can't tell it to you on the air, but I know what it is, and I think you fit the criteria.
So I will, if I'll tear down the wall here a little bit.
You can tear it down. For this, you can do it. Go ahead.
Sometimes people on here do that, and sometimes people on here don't.
Yep.
So I'm going to be very humble right now. I know that Rad has probably been through multiple training programs, and he has been doing this for a lot longer than me or really anyone else that I know. So for me to have the opportunity to get in the ring with someone like that, someone that I even watched when I was a lot younger, 10 or more years ago, that would mean the world to me, especially to be able to learn things from someone like that. Because I'll just close it right here. I don't really wrestle that often independently. I've wrestled people who are independent wrestlers, but I've only been on a handful of independent shows. So for him to talk to you in that way about me, or for you to at least think that, for that to be something, a thought that comes up that he would look for me, or he would look, the way I do things is things that he looks for. That means a lot, because
I just
a lot of what he does.
I just think that there's a certain, I know what he's looking for, and I think that you fit it. I can't say it on the air, but I think you fit it, and I hope that people follow you on Instagram. And speaking of people you've wrestled on the independents, Nicky Chooch is here Thursday night. He's here Thursday night. Very excited about Mr. Nicky Chooch. He's a man that I'm actually speaking with, somebody that's from my state, although he's no longer here, but he will be here this Thursday. I'm very excited about Mr. Nicky Chooch, and that will be one I hope you tune in for. He'll be here at 8:30. It'll be Thursday night, 8:30 p.m. So if you're enjoying tonight's stream, I think you'll enjoy a lot with Nicky Chooch. It'll be a very unique interview. Let me just put it that way.
I like Chooch. Chooch is great.
I interviewed him
guys
before.
That I've defended my belt against, that I don't have anything against. He was like in the right place at the right time. And
yeah. Well, we're going to talk about your match. We're going to definitely talk about it. You're going to definitely be a topic. And I've interviewed him before. Well, a man that's playing, or I don't know how to say it, but I interviewed an individual that might look like Nicky Chooch a while ago, but now we're getting Nicky Chooch. And I'll actually be talking with somebody that I actually know his lingo, because that's where I'm from. But we'll move on. I got more comments. Good evening, gentlemen. Walker, I noticed your glasses. Do you wrestle in glasses? Well, you just watched it here. We didn't see you in glasses. So, thank you, Drew, for the good question, though. I didn't need to rely on Daddy to be an ace in BYW, especially for DBW. Regardless if he can be satanic or to be Christian, referring to the past. Yes, we love Rad. I love that. NUW is the closest thing, I'd say. Yeah, that's a good one.
I think he's comparing NUW and DBW as well.
Yeah, I think, I definitely think that's...
They have a very large roster.
Yeah, I hope one day to talk NUW on this. You know, I have to say, the one elusive member to come on Sportswire is Navon McDonald. That's my elusive one.
Yeah, I want to see him on. I think he'd be a great guest.
It's nothing personal. It's just he's very hard to get on. He's an elusive figure. He's just hard to get on. He's just, I don't know. Yes, Jack Delta returns, but he's not in the ring at the moment, but we hope so. Untapped markets are in New Mexico. Okay. Thank you for that, I suppose. Who else we got here? Thank you, Kyle. We already answered Jason. I didn't even say anything. He didn't say anything. Yes, absolutely. Kyle and I spoke about him on a show on Sportswire. We did mention his name. I remember one time, yes, and I gave actually a few words about it. There we go. We miss and will always remember the one opponent I will never tie up with. Yes, that's why I really like Kyle, and Kyle knows his stuff. Kyle is a good man. Kyle is on my team. But Silas Walker, it's officially time to put you permanently on my team. It's time to officially induct you into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, because you definitely deserve it. You really should have been in a long time ago. After all, Chase Wakefield's in the Hall of Fame, and really, Chase Wakefield at this point is going to be in the Hall of Fame probably just for the Chase Wakefield Wedding Invitational. I know Chase will be like, we got to put him in for that, but you really deserve it. It's a long time overcome that we put you here. Everything you've done, going back to best in the yard, to going back to your own Fed, to going back with your wars with Novin, the Dawn's March, everything you're doing now, the best is yet to come. But congratulations. You are the 97th member of the Hall of Fame. You definitely deserve it. It's really a long time coming. I really feel from what you've done, your body of work, it's just consistent, but really now you're coming into your own, especially in this run. But like I said, your career, Zach Romig, the wars you've had, the Dawn's March, just everything you've done, DBW being just a cornerstone of DBW throughout going on 7 years, DBW's history, your own YouTube channel with 800 plus subs and counting, everything I think you will do in the future. I really think that this is one that's probably the start of multiple Hall of Fames. You'll probably get in. You'll probably get an Oscar in March. I mean, you'll probably win the Academy Award. I think I'm going to do an Oscar award show in sports. I think, you know what? I am a movie guy. I took drama for 3 years. I think I will give you an Academy Award for that performance. I don't know if Chase should get half of that award, but you're going to win an Oscar. You definitely deserve it. You definitely deserve to be here in the Hall of Fame. And also, I thought you would get you. I'm going to give you this when we're off the air. But I thought you would get a kick out of us. But to me, you were the leader of Chaos Conspiracy. Officially, you were the leader. Just want to let you know. I know it's no longer.
I appreciate that.
But congratulations. Yes, I know. There you go. Yes, Chase. I will put you in for the wedding. I know I'll have to do it. And congratulations to Robbie. Yes, good. And yes, definitely, I agree with Kyle. I think we talked about that before. Congratulations on being in the Hall of Fame. It's long overdue. I really think for your body of work, just inside the ring, what you do, I just think you are. That's why I think that you know what, you should. I think Rad. We'll talk about this off the air. I don't want to tip my hand any further, but all right. So obviously, I've spoke a lot tonight. You know, we spoke about Stephen Gaynor. We spoke about Austin James. We've talked about yet Chase Wakefield once again. We had a lot of people talk. Aaron Blaze randomly brings up different places, the DBW World Championship. So what is next for Silas Walker in the immediate future? What's next here?
Increase everything about myself. Hone my craft. Train as hard as I can. Prepare for Austin James. That's telling you, no one prepares like me. No one prepares mentally, physically, and all around better than I do. It'd be like Peyton Manning walking into a high school football game. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's a good one. Also, the story of Michael Jordan dunking a basketball at 50. I did hear that one. He randomly showed up in the gym and dunked a basketball. Yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. All right, I got that. All right, so you're going to prepare for 2 months for Austin James, and we're going to just continue here. And then Stephen Gaynor, nothing he can do about it.
I mean, I know he can keep presenting me with opponents, but I'm going to have to fight it for this thing anyways. I'm going to have to put this thing on the line anyways. So if he's the one that handpicks them, then so be it. You give me enough time, I will get the job done. I've said that enough.
Should DBW change general manager? Should we have a different manager?
I think there needs to be someone else in charge. I think that no, it sucks because I'm a wrestler. I think I would be awesome. I'd be a great person in charge.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't.
But you get Dusty Rhodes kind of stuff with that, and you don't. You
don't want to go down the Triple H run. You don't want to go down to Kevin Nash as the booker, Dusty Rhodes.
Yeah, but I could say, you know what? Silas Walker for the World Championship. Silas Walker's rules match. Nah, we're not going down that route. But what I'm saying is,
yeah,
General Manager Gaynor maybe should start applying to other places, because I'm going to put this thing to light. And if I take this to court, there's evidence on YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of substantial public information. So Gaynor should step aside and
but there's no one else. There's no one else to take his place, though.
But wouldn't that be what's best for business if Stephen Gaynor steps down?
That's not what he's going to think. But
if it's all best for business, so. but being best for business would be he's stepping down. No.
I agree. I think if he steps down, that's best for business. But I don't know what goes through his head. I wouldn't be talking about this if I knew, because I would just be addressing it.
And you guys haven't spoke at all since Merry Mayhem?
No, I think that maybe once DBW starts in 2025, maybe I need to have some kind of conversation with him at some point if this gets worse. Because if it's just okay, you cheated to win, or you won with a way that wasn't really conventional, here's your next opponent as punishment, that's one thing to understand. But if he's going to keep lining this up like he's done in the past, and I haven't given him any problems until recently, what caused the thing for him to get to this point? That's what I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, to me,
it's a mystery.
Listen, before we sign off here, I think for you, that's my question mark. It's not Austin James. I know Austin's going to come back onto Sportswire before that. He's going to tell me, I know Austin James. I know exactly what he's going to tell me. He's going to tell me a completely different story. But to me, the question for you in your future is Stephen Gaynor. And I'm just wondering, is Stephen Gaynor and Silas Walker big enough for DBW? Are they big enough to be together in DBW? Or is it where the two of you can't be here at the same time? It's going to be, to me, the biggest question. I think that's what I'm going to look at going forward. I don't know. I think that's where, otherwise your run, the opponents, the body of work, it's been a legendary year. You've had one of those years. I would say you were one of the best wrestlers in underground wrestling in 2024. If I look at your body of work, your opponents, I mean, you were in the running. I think you were right there. And I think that you will certainly win an Oscar from me in March, when you come back on. Actually, looking forward to that, actually. I'll have some fun with that. But I mean, I think that your run spoke for itself, but it could be certainly handicapped right now because you have this whole thing with Gaynor. You've actually posted on your own YouTube channel. You've obviously had segments on Thunder Punch with this. And I think that that's what it comes down to, because really Austin James is getting a title shot when he really may not be warranted of one at the moment. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to find out. I mean, obviously, if you want to watch DBW, by the way, and I'm wearing my DBW shirt, you can go to the DBW Bonfire store. Facebook DBW has a page, and Chase Wakefield is the administrator of the DBW Facebook page. So if that, for Mr. Walker's sake, isn't a sign of nepotism, I don't know what is, but I won't go there at that because I want to stay on Mr. Wakefield's sort of good side, because after all, we have the Chase Wakefield wedding invitation. But I would love for people still, nevertheless, hit the sub button for DBW. That's first of all, most important. Silas has got a YouTube channel. Let's support him. He's now our newest member of the Hall of Fame, and we appreciate Silas for all he's done for us. That's his Instagram. Check him out also on YouTube. And I'm looking forward to a lot of DBW coverage. Ace Christian's here tomorrow night. You will not want to miss that one. I got Van Hansen, by the way, who recently
that's a good
one. He's coming here in 2 weeks. He's back, I think, on the 20th. He's here, and he's going to talk about his career. His career looks like it's over. It's so over. He's doing TikTok reels now. He's doing TikTok lives, and I was on one of them with him, and he's doing music. And yes, Van Hansen, and who, by the way, ties into Austin James. So I'm going to be asking Van Hansen a lot about Austin James. So you might want to tune into at least the Van Hansen part with Austin James. And Nikki Chooch is here Thursday night. Boy, I might have to bring out my old voice from the neighborhood. And I was in Bensonhurst today, and that would be
You've got a hot lineup. You've got a hot lineup.
I got some good ones. Yeah, I got Nikki. I got Ace tomorrow. I got Hansen. I got his friend Anton Nathan, who I met on TikTok, who was like, I know you, which I did know him. We're friends on Facebook. And, through the grapevine, there's something pretty big coming on. Maybe I'll announce it tomorrow, but it's pretty big. I'll tell you maybe off the air. But I remember one time he locked his keys in his car at a DBW show. Rip Jason. That's not good. He locked his cars. My neighbor just did that.
I remember that.
Well, that's not a good thing. My neighbor just did that a month ago, and it was like, I can't help you. We miss him. We'll always remember Jason. Yes, the one opponent I will never tell. He just put that again. What else we got? I think we're good. Yep. Okay, we're good. You have anything else you want to get off your chest before closing thoughts?
Not really. I just need to contemplate what I'm going to do about the future, because you've really put this in my mind. Austin James is just he's an obstacle, but the real thing that's going to determine my future is what's going to happen with Stephen Gaynor, and is he staying? And if he does stay, how are we going to coexist? So that's something I really got to think about.
That's a good point. I think that's the point, and we want people to follow our newest member of the Hall of Fame. Speaking of people that are here, the man that actually, some would say, forced Aaron Blaze to head west, and Dominic, the YBW champion, the man that some would say forced Aaron Blaze to run and head west. I mean, he is. Don't doubt Dominic, and don't doubt Silas Walker by following him on Instagram. So let's pull the Instagram up, and Dominic is here. Maybe he's obviously going to tell Aaron Blaze not to show up to DBW, or maybe tread lightly in DBW. But if you want to follow Silas and his amazing journey, that's his Instagram page. So if you're Dom, you're anybody else, Kyle, if you haven't yet, just follow Silas Walker. He is our newest member of the Hall of Fame. We want to congratulate Silas and thank you. And yes, you're late, Dom. Late. I'm sorry, but he's no. I love Dom, and some would say Aaron Blaze went south or west because of Dom. So I give Dom all the props. We love Dom. We love YBW. We love Silas Walker. Follow Silas. Follow DBW. Follow Kyle. Follow Wrestling Zero. Follow those who support us. And that's a wrap. Happy New Year. We look forward to seeing you soon. I look forward to giving you an Oscar here on Sportswire Radio. I'll give you these papers when we're off the air. And congratulations on a great year and a way you ended it with Mr. Wakefield. I still think, though, that you'll be at the wedding. You'll have a match, regardless of whether Wakefield will actually be there, or maybe he'll be one of those guys that'll be late to his own wedding. I don't know, but I can't wait to see what you do. Yeah, some people say that, but we'll definitely see. The best is yet to come. And boo Aaron Blaze. Well, that's his opinion, but Ace Christian, Dom, you better be here for that one, 7:30 tomorrow. That's going to be, I'm telling you, I can't wait for that one. But yeah, I apologize. We apologize. Thank you, Kyle. We love everybody. And that's Silas Walker, the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, definitely give me a sub at Sportswire Radio 6579. Also, check out DBW. I will be here tomorrow with Ace Christian, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Nikki Chooch, Thursday night at 8:30. And also, by the way, one more thing from Dom. Next time you're on Silas, I'll be here soon. Thank you, Dominic. I like Dominic, although Dominic was the guy that was partially sleeping on Sportswire.
Okay. Well,
I love Dom, though. Dom's okay. I don't doubt Dominic. No, I said I was in the YBW chat. I actually said don't doubt Dominic. So Dominic and I are cool. But thank you. Warm up if you can. Watch this. Watch it on the replay. Follow DBW. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one, Global Radio, just to Sports by Radio, where all wrestling matters. And yes, we love Dom. We love everybody here. And I'll see everybody tomorrow. Thanks.